Soul Song of New Age Children. A Miraculous Journey into Spirit by Mana. Forest Fires. Be humble, for you are made of earth. Be noble, for you are made of stars. Swedish proverb. In the summer of 1989, I left for a 3-week forest fire duty to western Montana. Although I was technically a scientist, a forest ecologist, I could elect for this assignment, mitigating forest fires. It came with the worldly incentive of 24 hours of pay at a scientist's wage. For the sake of adventure and going into the wilderness, I elected to do so. It was thrilling to be in the midst of nature, with fire, wind, and the raw beauty of the land. Most of all, I loved working and playing as an integral part of a team, so engaged in a common purpose that personal differences were overlooked. Together we lived, and together we slept in a giant tent, amidst the majestic background of mountains, rivers, wildlife, and trees. The campsite was surrounded by dry ponderosa pine forest, with spruce and firs growing in the damp lowlands. The characteristic fragrance of vanilla, coming from the bark of the mighty ponderosa pine, permeated the air with its aroma until the wind would shift and bring in the pungent scent of smoke from raging forest fires. The intensity of the scenic beauty and staunch assurance coming from the hillsides and serene golden grasses eased fears of facing fire. Nature in that part of the United States is awe-inspiring and sublime beyond words. Our duty started the next day. It was strenuous activity for 10 hours each day. In the afternoon, we had lunch, sitting on the trunks of giant fallen trees on the grassy peak of a sloping mountain. There were all kinds of people who joined firefighting crews. Educated, uneducated, Native Americans, Alaskan tribal people called Inuits, scientists like me, regular volunteers, and many others from local communities. Still, there was no trace of gender or racial harassment. On the contrary, the people were all respectful to one another. We were all one team. One evening, upon returning to camp, I wished to be alone in silence. I waded into the large river, adjoining the mega camp of over 500 people, to a large boulder with water rushing by on both sides. On that giant rock, in the middle of the river, I closed my eyes and meditated to the song of birds at sunset, blending with the vibration of water rushing by. The haze of smoke blew from far off on the evening winds into the campsite. Following that enchanting moment, I set out to locate the common showers set up somewhere in the back of a semi-truck trailer I was a little apprehensive about the common showers. I was reserved in that way and would have preferred to bathe in the river. In the midst of thought, while searching for the showers, something strange happened. The haze and smoke lifted, and a paramedic, a man dressed in an immaculately red-colored uniform, walked toward me. The scene grew silent, with a strange, subtle light as he approached. I could no longer notice people, whereas just seconds earlier, they had been bustling all around. Suddenly, we were in a bubble where time, space, and activity halted. The paramedic placed his hands on my shoulders. He said, "I have to talk with you. I saw you sitting on the mountain today. I observed your energy. You have reached an extremely advanced level in the Buddhist tradition. You draw wisdom and energy from the trees. You will use these talents one day to serve the earth. You must know this. I must tell you this." He repeated the last line 3 times. He let go of my shoulders and disappeared. The haze, noises, and din of the camp scene returned. I was disoriented for a moment. I never saw him again, or any paramedic in such a clean, red uniform. Everything, including myself, was covered from head to toe in black ash. I was 21 years old and didn't know the first thing about Buddhism, mystical awakenings, or messages from beyond the physical reality. That night I lay in the tent, pondering while others slept. I couldn't understand the experience. I didn't share it with anyone for over 20 years, for fear of being ridiculed. In the years that followed, a psychic said that I have an immense power which I am afraid of. She urged me to discover it, use it, and not to be afraid. Hints regarding some kind of life calling were coming, but I was not willing and much too afraid of this ability to access multi-dimensional soul realms. It's easier to be meek and silly than to accept one's power. I ran from the calling, longing to be normal. However, wanting to know the ancient secrets of the soul and the planet were also not mainstream interests. As a teenager and young adult, I hardly spoke. I could sense the emotions and even hear the thoughts or intentions of others. I had little self-confidence and did not trust intuition. Information received intuitively would lead to bursts of anger when I sensed wrongful or harmful intentions. A rebellious nature was my hallmark throughout. Years later, a fascination with mystics and mysticism developed. I realized from reading that some life experiences are attempts from a realm beyond the physical to awaken a soul and remind them of their plan for this lifetime. These experiences provide a window to see beyond the veil. The paramedic was not a human being, but a light being, which had come to deliver a message to me to awaken. Many experiences have since reaffirmed a now unshakable belief in the multitude of realms beyond the physical. Belief born of first-hand experience had to develop. It is a gift to awaken to realms of the soul. It's a gift to suffer, if suffering means awakening. As the process continues, I have gained insight into many of the shamanic healing practices and ancient teachings of Earth. Most recently, I understand that my soul has come as a scholar to record a pivotal moment in Earth's history through the eyes of a new age child. This part of the mission has led me to sharing here with you. Forest fires revisited. I stayed up all night to see where the sun went. Then it dawned on me. As I wrote this book, I had been attending live channeling sessions of ascended masters. During one session, the goddess Kuan Yin spoke. She has been known for centuries in Buddhism as the female bodhisattva of compassion. At one time, she walked the earth as a human, became enlightened, and decided to work for humanity forevermore as an ascended light being. It is said in legend that she resides in the forests of Tibet. During the one-to-one channeling, I spoke with the energy of Kuan Yin about this book and about coming to India. I asked her why I had come. I came by way of intuitive inner guidance, but didn't know exactly why. She replied, "My child, you have come for your own healing and to increase the light quotient within you. You have almost completed both tasks." I had come to India to have time to relax, heal, and introspect. To have the peace required to take care of 2 children while healing myself. The sojourn here has allowed the soul to grow whole and heal permanently from the inside out. I asked this goddess energy if I am on my soul's intended path with writing. It was 5 years prior to a popular blog and books. At that time, I couldn't have imagined what was to come. She replied, "Your writing and this book have been guided. It is yours, but it is also ours. Don't you feel it? Don't you feel that it is being written through you and not by you? You too are a channel. you channel through writing. I told her that I planned to complete the book soon. It must be finished soon, she said. I was motivated at her behest to complete it and conquer the inner saboteur, the doubting mind. The consciousness of Kuan Yin also informed me of past lives lived as a healer, developing the abilities of the third eye. She informed me that I was once a student of a great Indian freedom fighter as well. She urged me to reach out more with writing and emphasized the importance of healing and reaching out. She implored that these abilities must be put to use and will increase as they are used. I asked her, "Who is guiding me from the unseen realms?" She replied, "You are your own teacher and your own student. However, one spirit guide will be revealed to you soon." She then, with a mischievous smile, said, "Think about it for a moment now." She continued, "You have learned from the forest, from speaking to the trees. You draw energy from them." My mind flashed back 23 years earlier to Western Montana and the paramedic with the same message. I felt a chill of recognition of the ascended consciousness now speaking. "It was you?" I asked. She knowingly smiled. I asked her, "What are you? Are you really the Kuan Yin that once existed on the physical plane and attained enlightenment?" She replied, "Yes, I am that Bodhisattva, and I am now an aspect of the collective conscious of humanity. I am a voice of the universal ray of feminine compassion. You are one messenger of this ray, dawning of the new age." The significance of birds. For in the final analysis, our most basic common link is that we all inhabit the same planet. We all breathe the same air. We all cherish our children's futures. And we are all mortal. John F. Kennedy, 35th US President. In the forest, the sound of birds joyfully singing is a sign of sovereignty and safety. Just before a storm, an earthquake, or when predators are afoot, the trees and animals fall silent. Birdsong is a clear signal of safety to all creatures to move about freely in the open. The song of birds tells us that all is well. The song of birds is so much a part of the human psyche that it has been shown to initiate a relaxation response. It precipitates production of positive hormones which counteract uneasiness or disease within the human body. Just sensing that birds are singing and flying freely promotes well-being in children and adults. At one time, in North America, a canary, a beautiful yellow songbird was brought within a cage into coal mines. Deep under the Earth's surface, there are sometimes pockets of lethal methane and carbon monoxide gases released from layers of organic rock. If the canary in the cage passed out, then the miners knew that these gases and danger were present. They would abandon the mine. Therefore, a warning signal for danger in colloquial English is sometimes referred to as the canary in the coal mine. In 1962, Rachel Carlson, an ecologist and marine biologist, wrote an important book called Silent Spring. In the midst of the Industrial Revolution in the United States, she documented how songbirds were falling silent. She predicted that if levels of pollutants and industrial waste were to continue unchecked, that one day there would be a silent spring. In the book, she expounded upon the great danger that toxins in the environment pose for human health. The air and rivers in the United States were so polluted by chemical spraying, pesticides, and industrial waste at that time that the canaries in the coal mine were dying. The animal kingdom and then human beings would soon follow. Carlson was attacked by the industry and some in government as a radical alarmist. She courageously spoke out to remind us that we are an inextricable part of the natural world, subject to the same consequences as the rest of the ecosystem. Testifying before Congress in 1963, Carlson called for new policies to protect human health and the environment. Linda Lear, 1998. In response to the publication of Silent Spring and the controversy that ensued, U.S. President John F. Kennedy directed his advisory committee to investigate Carlson's claims. Their investigation vindicated her work and led to the strengthening of chemical pesticide regulations and the establishment of the Environmental Protection Agency. Her book is credited with helping launch the contemporary American environmental movement. During the 1970s, the air quality and water quality in the USA dramatically improved due to a sea change in attitude at all levels. Citizens realized that they are connected to the earth as part of an ecological web of life. Large companies were held accountable for polluting what belongs to everyone. In 1980, many years after her death from cancer, Carlson was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Jimmy Carter. Today in India, many have become alarmed as the sound of songbirds disappears from the urban landscape. In many places, the great rivers, the carriers of life, smell so badly, and the air quality has become so poor that it won't be long before children and adults also fall ill from lack of clean water, positive intention, and care sent to Mother Earth. Access to pure water, clean air, and wilderness is seen as a privilege and not a right. The same mistakes had been made in progressing nations just 60 years prior. Progress on universal terms means living in harmony with the earth as the foundation stone of all endeavors. We must remember that we have not inherited the earth, but have borrowed it from our children. The main goal of the organized system, called society, should be freedom for all of life to grow in a natural and healthy way. Clean water to drink and the right to breathe clean air are due to everyone, including plants, wildlife, and domesticated animals. Freedom in the system to be healthy is a realistic goal. In fact, I can't see any other role that government and business leaders have other than ensuring basic freedoms. Yet, for some reason, the freedom to live in dignity, health, and safety together with nature has been taken away. In the biological news of the world, honeybees are also falling silent. Last year, 1/3 of honeybee populations were decimated by unknown causes. Bees are considered by biologists to be a crucial part of the ecological web of life and the food chain because they pollinate flowers and trees. Einstein had said, if the last honeybee were to die, then man would follow them into extinction 4 years later. No bees, no pollination, no man. Nature is a measurable symbol of what beauty or evil is lurking within the minds of humans. The fall of the birds and the bees is the canary in the coal mine, telling society that something has been amiss and that we have placed our species in grave danger. We have been killing our mother, and she will retaliate and shake us off if we cease to care. Nature always responds and flourishes when the collective conscious and political milieu opens up to freedom for all of life, big and small, to breathe, unfold their wings, and sing their soul song. Nature can bless us with the song of birds and all that the human body, mind, and soul require to thrive in joy and peace. Lately, the collective consciousness of humanity is rising. The majority of youth are aware of insidious dark powers working against the welfare of the people and of Earth. Much truth is exposed, mainly via the New Age children, the harbingers of a new era, and beings of advanced conscious awareness. They are beacons of truth. They function like bees, as one interconnected net of consciousness, and as songbirds leading the way. Freedom and New Age children. I may disagree with what you have to say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. Voltaire, French philosopher. The aim of this writing is to provide an account of this time in history, which blends heart and mind. It blends scientific inquiry with real life into a moving hypothesis of where we are going as a species. It is presented for your consideration and deeper thought. What you decide to do with this information and how it affects you will vary from individual to individual. My wish is that it opens up new horizons for all of us to live in freedom. The goal has been to present my research into truth at this point in time. This truth may evolve into something else as I gain new understanding. Inquiry into truth must never become monopolized. There should be freedom in the system. My greatest wish is that consciousness opens up in awareness and that we remember who we really are and why we came here. Among other things, this book introduces the reader to the New Age children. These are genres of soul which I believe will change the political, economic, and social landscape of Earth within the coming decades. Why are the New Age children here? New Age children display unique perceptual capabilities. Previous generations of children learned from the mind to judge and compete. They learned to suppress compassion to the point that the mind ruled over the heart. They were concerned with survival, competition, and being the best. Certain children today are born with wisdom beyond the limited body and an ability to connect to faster vibration realms of intelligent light via the right brain. They have a natural ability to communicate with nature and with higher frequencies of light. They are connected to greater powers. Many children born circa the year 2000 and most children born afterward have come to Earth from distant realms and planets with a mission of disclosure of ancient knowledge and to bring about familial and global shifts in consciousness. They have come to challenge systems and fearlessly live in truth. The most recent golden children are of such a high vibration realm, straight from the light, that simply their presence will heal millions. These children are here to recycle the negative energy of the planet back into the light once again. Each golden child is a potent and powerful energy transformer. Many of the recent New Age children have never incarnated on Earth before. They are volunteers to this realm, following a call from Earth for help. Consciousness had fallen too low, and the Earth was and still is in danger of destruction due to human carelessness. The first cry for help from Mother Earth to the cosmos went out after the detonation of atomic weapons. Since that time, the New Age children, advanced beings of consciousness, have been exponentially increasing in numbers. These beings behave fearlessly and ethically because they are different. Some of the New Age children are souls which have come from other planetary systems. These star children may have come into a physical body on Earth for the first time and may be hyperactive and have trouble adjusting their high frequency to the frequency of Earth. The main message of all the New Age children to humanity at this time is to connect to the voice within. Follow the heart, respect nature, and know our true origins. They have come to teach that there is no higher authority than the truth within the eternal soul. New Age children are employed by consciousness itself. They are loyal to the greater purpose. Evolution is carrying humanity into unity consciousness and generous compassion as a way of life. Highly evolved civilizations and individuals are generous and compassionate. As high frequencies of light are reaching the earth at this time, it interacts directly with the human genome and catalyzes the shift into multi-dimensional awareness and the full potential of a human to be the light, to self-actualize as fully human. New Age children are becoming the norm and the majority in a new society, which is forming around the mantra of the New Age and the Energy Age: unity, all for one and one for all. Their life's purpose is to promote equality, growth, and freedom in the system. They tend to the beehive while demonstrating how to experience ease, joy, and abundance. The honey along the way. They are showing humanity to strive for abundance in all things, and mostly the intangible aspects of life. They are awakening long forgotten knowledge, the ancient wisdom of earth, which had been taken away when humanity allowed the limited, calculating mind, darkness, and ignorance to rule over the intuition and wisdom of the human heart. The New Age children are here to rebirth an era of peace and prosperity, based upon an advanced understanding of what marvels of joy and love humans are truly capable of. The human DNA, expressions of belief systems, and connectivity is either inert or awakened. Only in the awakened, connected state are we fully human. To live in fear is to be asleep and inert. The New Age children are here to awaken and evolve humanity out of the dark drama and into a new reality. They are resurrecting knowledge of metaphysical sciences, self-healing, psychic ability, and futuristic technologies. With their presence, they are grounding higher vibration frequencies into this dense physical reality. For a few thousand years, we have been living in a deeply sick society, in which mind addictions have been forced upon us. We have forgotten our power and have abandoned our own light. We have won many battles with the mind and lost the war. We have severed the connection between the lower self and the higher self, and between the heart and Mother Earth. For many thousands of years, religious, political, media, and business leaders have reigned with covert agendas to enslave and domesticate humanity, like farm animals to be used at their will, rather than to be set free as songbirds employed by the universal will. They have silenced the voices of many advanced souls who had come into any form of power or influence. They have been ruthless in their ways and have stolen a world of laughter, joy, safety, connection to inner nature, and natural abundance, the sweetness, honey, and meaning of life itself. The coming of millions of highly evolved, heart-centered, connected New Age children is nature's latest form of evolution and revolution. Communication. You cannot not have an effect on another human being. If you have come into contact, you are affecting one another in either a positive or negative way. It is your conscious choice called intention. Milton Erickson, founder of Western hypnotherapy. As a New Age adult, my heart isn't interested in pretense. It is interested in deeper moments of joy, creative communication, laughter, and commitment to growth, learning, and change. This preference for heartfelt magical moments without words does not mean that I am antisocial or autistic. I sincerely wish everyone their highest good and all the joy that life can offer them. I just do not wish to speak unnecessarily, attend large functions, gossip, or comment from the mind on anything anymore. It all happens in a different way. I am differently social. When I am lost in daydreaming, I perceive the wisdom, art, messages, and even music which exist at finer wavelengths. I can see nuances of light and communicate with the light. There are times when I hear music, beautiful symphonies, without a known source. There are times when I feel that I must write because something is coming through me. Most, if not all New Age children, know at an instinctual level what those around them are feeling or thinking. Subtle vibrations of information is received and decoded by the heart. Often the New Age child does not speak because they are able to communicate via thought impulses and heart vibrations. Words seem superfluous to a child who can sense what is happening and commune telepathically. As the New Age children return humanity home to the long-forgotten wisdom of the heart, it may be that spoken language will become superfluous. The lost art of transmitting symbols and visions to one another may return. In fact, this right brain, heart-centered form of communication is still alive today among the native peoples of Earth. It is a language as ancient as the stars. This wisdom language of symbols, of feeling, and of the heart lies dormant within each one of us too. Non-verbal communication would have the additional advantage of breaking down barriers of national and cultural identification. Future generations will simply say, "I belong to the human race," and will feel the connection to another via the heart versus spoken language. Evolution and progress always means embracing a larger part of humanity as family. Illness or progress. Problems present opportunities to grow into new ways of being. The problem is not the problem. It's the way we feel about the problem that's the real problem. Dr. Warren Stagg, Ajna Center for Learning, Pune. Each thought and each emotion which we take to heart precipitates 1,400 chemical reactions in the body. As we change and heal limiting beliefs, we rewrite the biochemistry of the human body. As we break free of limiting beliefs, our soul light expands, and the body balances and heals itself. Each thought, intention, and emotion tends to the garden of the mind and body, planting seeds of flowers or weeds. In my life, I had been medicated several times for depression and anxiety. Visits to psychiatrists to receive medication continued for 7 years. Until the day I believed in who I am and what I am as a creative force of thought, of light, I played the victim to the system. One day, it dawned on me that I am the master of my mind. If my mind and body can produce depression, it can eliminate it also. I adapted for myself an affirmation. I repeated. I released the need for medications 300 times per day. After one day, I reduced the dosage by half. After 3 days, I threw the psychotropic drugs into the trash. I was done with that particular victim consciousness forever. I suffered no side effects and have remained free of chemical control over my bodily vibration ever since. Prior to this micro-awakening, I didn't question the system. Like most medicated with psychotropic drugs, I experienced significant side effects while taking them. One was to be flat, like a zombie without a personality. My soul could no longer access inner wisdom, self-healing light, intuition, or the voice of the higher self. If we treat only the symptom, we subdue the soul and the purpose of being here. We mask a golden opportunity for growth into expansive, empowering beliefs and soul power. Body, mind, and soul are one. If we open up energetically to what the soul needs, the endocrine glands function harmoniously, releasing exactly what is required by the body in perfect timing and harmony. We can speak to the body via the soul. we can affirm what we need. I am in complete harmony with the innermost energy, the earth and the higher parts of me. I balance my bodily chemistry. We can decide to grow more beautiful every day in every way. The body listens to what the heart believes. A tiny heart of truth and a mystical key called belief beats within each cell. To believe is to live it. By acting compassionately in society, endorphins are released which counteract stress and restore youth. Compassionate action is the best anti-aging remedy. When the soul knows that you feel the connection, it is overjoyed and can eliminate bodily ailments as quickly as it has created them. The metaphysical sciences, the sciences of the unseen, which point to the importance of the pineal gland and the heart center for connecting, have long been considered occult. Occult does not mean evil or wicked. Occult simply means hidden. Soul sciences, although well documented, for some reason have been hidden from students and the public for well over 2,000 years. This story has something to do with why the New Age children are here. In this book, among other things, I would like to shed light upon an existing debate: illness or progress into freedom? This question has been simmering beneath the surface of the sciences of psychology, sociology, and medical research for many years. As part of formal university research, the question has not yet been posed. The answers we come to know as truth are only as good as the questions we ask. The industry funding formal research would not support or allow an opposing theory of learning disabilities or illness to appear. However, viewed from the perspective of soul evolution, the story appears clear. Symptoms of light body and DNA activation, ascension symptoms, are acute in millions these days. They are but one tangible sign of a quantum leap in consciousness taking place. In the light of new understanding, you may want to consider if you require any medication prescribed to you and your children as a life sentence for the crime of evolving or already being highly evolved. You may want to heal body, mind, and soul and uncover your truth. The higher self loves you unconditionally and wants you to grow into your own light. In the case of a New Age child, one is likely to be depressed and restless when one does not fit into society's systems and dogmatically defined learning and living environments. As an evolving adult, one is likely to feel fatigue if the body is releasing outdated belief systems and updating itself at unprecedented speed. Maybe a shift in perspective to living the soul versus living a role is all that is required. The shift. The earth is mother of all that is natural, mother of all that is human. She is the mother of all, for contained in her are the seeds of all. Saint Hildegard of Bingen, German mystic, healer, visionary and polymath. Undisclosed to the masses, the earth is shifting on its magnetic axis. The North Pole is moving at the rate of 1 mile per day eastward, and on its present course is scheduled to land in Siberia soon. It seems a reversal of the poles of the earth is taking place. The movements in the earth's magnetic field, as well as the quantum leap in consciousness on earth, are referred to in scientific and meditation circles as the shift. In the previous decade, the earth has shifted 9 degrees on its own axis, creating an opening in the magnetic grid lines. New wavelengths, vibrations of energy can reach into Earth's atmosphere, streaming in through the North Pole and flowing over the Earth, bathing it in new light. Interestingly, the human heart, when healthy, beats in synchronization with the magnetic frequency of the Earth. Our heart is connected to the heartbeat of Mother Earth. We are a part of her. The inundation of high-frequency energies is precipitating leaps in conscious understanding and sudden enlightenment in many individuals. Around the globe, humans are feeling a need for lifestyle changes without being able to explain why. There has been a great movement to simplify and choose quality over quantity of experience. There has been an awakening of the truth of the heart. There is an intense need for meaning over matter. There has been a need to rest and integrate the new energy. News of the massive shifts in the polarity of the Earth, its magnetic grid, as well as the new light vibrations and soul vibrations of indigo, crystal, rainbow, and golden energies has also been withheld from the general public. The shift has been known about for millions of years. It is a cyclical occurrence. In history texts, Earth's history and human origins are likely entirely falsified. Imagine if such literally groundbreaking information can be withheld from the general public. What else has been withheld? An inquiring mind must ask, by whom and for what reasons? A little over a century ago, Galileo, the astronomer, who boldly declared that the Earth revolves around the Sun, rather than the Sun revolving around the Earth, was ridiculed and persecuted for hearsay by the Catholic Church. Those political and religious leaders of the time ordained themselves to have complete rights upon the movement of the earth, as well as the minds and bodies of the populace. They wanted everyone to believe that only they understand truth, and that only they could inform the public about what and what not to lend credence to. At this time in history, similarly, a global force claims complete rights upon the sciences pertaining to human health, human evolution, soul sciences, extrasensory abilities, multi-dimensional realities, and extraterrestrial life. This force has mastery over this powerful knowledge and will publicly ridicule and persecute those who profess new information or contradictory evidence. In the midst of an ongoing battle for truth, the Great Awakening, and the shift, humans are advancing in abilities to connect with truth, coming from the higher self and multiple dimensions of being, including realms in outer space. Many realms are watching over us and want to work peacefully with us in these times. Many light beings are visiting us. They interdimensionally travel with ease. More recently, advanced souls are taking birth as new age children. We have never been alone in the universe. And in fact, the latest discoveries demonstrate that we all have intergalactic origins. As the shift takes place and consciousness unfolds, our planet is evolving into galactic citizenship once again. As the Earth orbits the Sun every 365 days, our Sun and solar system orbit the Milky Way galaxy on a regular cycle. What is termed the cosmic year was complete circa the year 2012. Now, we have approached complete alignment between the Earth, our Sun, and the Milky Way galaxy. This galactic alignment is said to bring forth extremely high vibrations of energy to the Earth. This energy has been prophesied by ancient and highly advanced civilizations to be the catalyst, which will reawaken the planet and cause quantum changes in the human body, reawakening latent light strands of DNA within our species. The cycle has happened before. After millennia in darkness, we are advancing once again into authentic power as interconnected and cosmically connected human beings. Breaking news. The North Pole is no longer the North Pole. It should be breaking news, and it's astonishing that it isn't even mentioned in the news. Global positioning systems, satellites, wireless networks, and navigation systems are regularly recalibrated to the shift taking place in the polarity of the Earth. Humans must calibrate their physical systems with light foods, more rest, fresh air, and movement in order to assimilate the high-frequency, awakening energies reaching out to them. The only beings that won't need to recalibrate are our symbols of freedom, the birds. They seem to adapt quickly. They adjust to new circumstances without question. They allow themselves to evolve following nature's flow. The human body and belief systems, as a part of nature, must also adapt and change. Progress is positive acceptance of new truth and willingness to change. The human body is an open energetic system closely tied with the magnetic grid of the earth as well as with vibrations of cosmic energy. Earth energies are known as the eternal mother and cosmic energies are known as the eternal father of the human soul. We are born as spirit in human form. Under the influence of the combination of these energies, the cause of the external shift in magnetic poles of the earth and the internal shifts taking place within the human body are not random. We are being born again into another vibration, a new dimension, and an advanced way of life. As we send our love to the earth and to the cosmos, we will receive waves of healing and love in return. We are part of a system vastly greater than the system presented to us as limited everyday life. The universe is holographic. Each cell in our body is a microcosm, and the universe is itself a cell within a greater body. All changes take place at all levels. New age children are part of the shift of the Earth's magnetic axis, as well as the shift in human consciousness. They are the children of the new dimension of unity consciousness. In the same way that the global shift of the magnetic poles of the Earth is kept secret, despite immense evidence and scientific validation, the coming of new age children has also been hidden from public view. Progress is change. As you walk upon the sacred earth, treat each step as a prayer. Black Elk, Lakota Medicine Man. Children are meant to run ahead of us, living in ways which previous generations have never imagined. That is why we must set them free to be themselves and change our ways for them. That is called progress and evolution. Progress is acceptance and willingness to positively change and to be fearless of the unknown while making it known. Today's children will be driving flying automobiles fueled by pollution-free hydrogen fusion and zero-point technology. They will speak with the earth and with animals. They will be time-traveling, interdimensionally traveling, and communing telepathically with all life forms. They will heal with sound and vibration. As managers of businesses and countries, they will care for the growth, health, well-being, equality and freedom of the people, the animals, and the earth. They will live as part of a great sacred circle of life. Why would we want to keep them weighted down in our severely limited, inhumane, and barbaric ways of the world of yesteryear? We cannot continue to mentor or teach children as we were taught, because many children are literally an entirely different species of advanced human beings living with new potentials and possibilities. In fact, all of us are evolving of late at an unprecedented rate. Millions of rapidly evolving adults with ascension symptoms are remotely aware that a new dimension is in a process of unfolding within them. Wings are forming, and the phoenix is rising from the ashes. They feel their heart opening, and at the same time feel lethargy, palpitations, and restlessness. At the deepest level, they know that the changes are taking place for their highest good. Many have an inexplicable need to cry as the heart opens, accompanied by deep sleep as the subconscious assimilates downloads and data. Most require less and lighter food as the body begins to hold more cosmic light within each cell. Like a lotus flower, they can feel the heart rising out of the muck and slime of lower instincts, and the grand flower that they are, unfolding toward the sky. They can feel something happening from within, but aren't sure what it is. They want to break free from bondage and mind programming in order to take action for the greater good. It's happening around the globe these days to almost everyone. 2024. Why did we have to be invaded? What had we done? A peace-loving country, Tibet, with no ambition other than to develop spiritually. Lobsang Rampa, Tibetan Lama, the third eye. The mass awakening was the actual meaning of the apocalypse of 2012. December 21st, 2012 was an important date, which marked the end of the era of the mind and the birth of the era of the soul. Apocalypse was a misnomer for rebirth. We are being reborn into the power of spirit to free ourselves from bondage, overt and covert slavery. 2024 is another seminal year. It is the year that the higher vibrations will be in place in the majority living on Earth. A critical mass of unity consciousness will have been reached long before that. We are growing now in quantum leaps. The new energies of mass awakening will expose and bring an end to corrupt and dysfunctional family, political, economic, and social systems worldwide. We will, after millennia of control and corruption, witness open communication, authentic leadership, and transparent business practices coming into place. The systems undermining freedom and creating widespread sickness, poverty, separation, and slavery aren't going to die without a struggle, but are definitely on their way out. There is already a civil war which has begun on Earth. It is an epic battle between the people of Earth against those who have been irresponsible and manipulative with power for thousands of years. It will require approximately another 9 years after 2024 until the new reality becomes completely grounded on Earth. The dark forces, which have been manipulating soul power out of the masses in the interests of totalitarian control, are going to put up a fight. There may be a shutdown of major banks worldwide. It will be serving to allow for fair business and lending practices to take their place. There may be significant weather events and devastating plagues of illnesses planned and executed as final attempts to maintain fear and control. There is already desperation for drinking water, as well as environmental catastrophe in many places in the world. There is heightened disaster and increased suppression of women and desecration of the divine feminine, Mother Earth. Let it serve to awaken us completely to take action on her behalf. Let the contrast, the darkness, the teacher, make us more resolute in our will for change. In the final analysis, all that is happening to raise conscious awareness and accelerate the shift in global consciousness. We are being jolted into awakening. The energy and the urgency is strong. Upheaval and a mass shift in conscious awareness is required to shake out the limiting belief systems given to us dogmatically by religion, pedantically by schools, and covertly via the media. We have allowed the mind to enslave the soul. The priority now is to return to the great circle of life. Each and everything is alive and interconnected. Consciousness is in truth fearless, eternal, and indestructible. The understanding of our lost powers and the ancient wisdom of this earth is coming. The earth, the animals, the plants, and the people are all one consciousness. Each and every one of us must act in these times on behalf of truth. Half-truths distract the mind from the greater good, God. Unbiased and positive news regarding the mass awakening and advances in human abilities are not shown in the media. Anything bringing positivity and power to the people poses a threat to the shadowy entities which have suppressed the soul song of earth. The decade of disclosure, 2014 to 2024, is underway. And the new age children are leading the way. Of late, shadows have been coming to light and into view of the general public in increasingly startling and dramatic ways. However, the amount of manipulation that has been taking place is so mind-boggling that the extent of it will take time to unfold. Until 2024 and beyond, each one of us must remain centered and tuned into our internal and eternally fearless center of truth. Revival. Truth suffers but never dies. Saint Teresa of Avila, Spain. The shift in consciousness taking place globally is from competition to positive creation. The changes are allowing for access to higher guidance, to the light, and the courage to stand up and take action for the greater good. In these times, stay tuned into your higher self and to children, because they are the songbirds leading the way. In many ways, New Age children mark a return of ancient wisdom which had been lost in the post-modern slaughter of indigenous peoples. The indigenous, native peoples of the earth, having immense knowledge of the soul and the origins of humanity, had for millions of years lived in harmony with the earth, the intergalactic community, and the ancient wisdom. New Age children are a revival movement and a reawakening. They are returning the ancient wisdom of soul realms and access to our greatest powers. They are commanding energy from diverse dimensions in order to revive wisdom, heal, and promote freedom's song, the song of the soul. They are the reason that so much of the hidden darkness in the world is now coming to light. As the energy of New Age children raises the collective vibration of humanity, it is becoming easier to discern truth and see through falsity. Ultimately, New Age children have the inner resolve not to play along with the status quo and will expose truth wherever and whenever they can. It isn't always easy for them, because they are likely to be labeled as antisocial, rebellious, or even ill. Many are medicated for anxiety, bipolarity, depression, hyperactivity, and even schizophrenia. they will be misunderstood until a critical mass of understanding has been reached. Everyone must eventually open up to the path of the collective conscious, or the Dharma. It is our main duty to grow in consciousness and one fine day consider humanity as family and multidimensionality as reality. New age children can feel what actions don't harmonize with the Dharma and their duty. Not all children currently have fully developed as new age children. However, the numbers of children and adults with abilities to see from the soul and to take action out of higher awareness are increasing exponentially in recent times. Those who have set a strong intention to grow are evolving into spiritually mature adults. We, the people, have become an unstoppable force of change, despite elaborately orchestrated tactics to medicate, chemically destroy, electromagnetically poison, and lead us into addictions, greed, violence, and debauchery. Despite massive efforts to extinguish our voices and abilities to reach out to the world, we have prevailed. Caveat emptor. I long to accomplish a great and noble task, but it is my chief duty to accomplish small tasks as if they were great and noble. Helen Keller, deaf, blind author, lecturer, political activist. The knowledge imparted in this work has come to me via personal experiences, research, meditation, channeling of non-physical beings in hypnotherapy, diverse metaphysical studies, and personal interaction with children and people from around the world. The aim is to inspire the reader to seek and to sing their own song of freedom. It is to encourage a readiness to change course. It is to lead us to work and play joyfully as an integral part of the entire beehive, so that we can create sweet things on earth once again. Joy and abundance of all things is the honey that the human beehive was created to create. These are the gifts that we as human children give to Mother Earth and Father Cosmos. What is written here has to resonate within you by demonstrating itself in your life and your personal experience. Only then will you feel truth as a song and a vibration within the eternal inner core versus the limited rational mind. You will know it within your heart, a center of intelligence and electromagnetic resonance 5,000 times more powerful than the brain. Trust the voice of truth within your heart. It is not required that the reader believe in all that I have written, or even agree with it all. In its entirety, this book presents a hypothesis and a memoir of these times. It is new information for many, to be assimilated in its own time and integrated with personal experience. After this writing, it is not for me to speak, but for you to seek. I hope that with these words, you will better understand some aspects of metaphysics, new science, new age children, and maybe even yourself as a rapidly evolving adult. No matter whom you are and where you are de facto transforming at this moment into a being of greater light, with an increasing capacity to live in truth and the eternal song of the soul. The answers we come to know as truth are only as good as the questions we ask.